A legal victory for the Philippine Vice President. The Supreme Court has struck down an impeachment complaint against Sara Duterte, ruling it unconstitutional. Our judges in the top court reaching a unanimous agreement on Congress violating a constitutional safeguard against multiple impeachments being launched against the same official within the period of a year. The Vice President was impeached in February by the House of Representatives after being accused of graft, corruption, and an alleged plot to assassinate President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Ms. Duterte has dismissed the move to impeach her as politically motivated, given bitter feuding between the Duterte and Marcos political dynasties. And from CNA's Buena Bernal joins us live from Metro Manila. Buena, if this case had gone ahead and Ms. Duterte had been convicted, and that is a big assumption, she would have been barred from public office for life. So what the Supreme Court has decided, how significant is that for her political career?
What this unanimous ruling by the Philippine Supreme Court does for the embattled sitting Vice President Sara Duterte is really free up her legal team for any possible responsibilities for an ouster plot or an impeachment proceeding emanating from 20th Congress that would convene for the first time this July 28th. Up until only February 2026. And the reason for that is because the Supreme Court said that the one-year ban against multiple impeachment proceedings against the same official will end February 2026, considering that it was February this year when the fourth impeachment complaint was filed against her. And it was that complaint that was supported or affirmed by 2/3 of the Philippines' lower chamber of Congress, called the House of Representatives, even if the constitutional requirement was only 1/3 of that chamber. And the Supreme Court was pertaining to that constitutional provision that even her legal team had already been preparing to debate as early as a year before the filing of the first impeachment complaint. Now, to the question, is this significant? It is significant if it will stall or end all efforts for another impeachment proceeding after February 2026, if the Chamber of Congress loses momentum at all. But if a trial will proceed after 2026 or after February 2026, then what it did was simply bring these allegations, or a reminder of these allegations, closer to D-Day, and that is the 2028 presidential elections, when Vice President Sara Duterte is seen as a possible contender. And even in WR Numero survey prior to the May midterm elections this year, she was actually the top contender in that possible 2028 presidential race. It's also going to be significant if no effort is done after February 2026, because these allegations of fund misuse can still be pursued before criminal courts separate from the impeachment proceeding. So the Filipino public can still be reminded of these fund misuse allegations through a criminal charge, perhaps.
All right, Buena, very complex and convoluted there, but I suppose, correct me if I'm wrong, if I could just very quickly summarize, it matters because she has on many occasions hinted to her many supporters that she might run for president in 2028. So any disbarment from public office would affect, obviously, that particular ambition, but also what you mentioned. So if there is no further complaint after 2026, she might be home free for a moment. But the fact is, this is the fourth complaint, and this is why it is a constitutional violation. But there have been 3 complaints, impeachment complaints before this, that the Senate, or rather the lower house or the Senate, you can clarify that for me, did not actually act on these 3 complaints. Why did they not act on these first 3 impeachment complaints?
So when allies of the vice president raised this issue, the prosecutors, meaning the House of Representatives panel that would argue for the impeachment before the Senate, which will act as the impeachment trial court, argued that the 4th impeachment complaint is a consolidation of all past impeachment complaints. Now, that's their argument now, but what this points to is an irony of the vibrancy of Philippine Congress and the House of Representatives, because the first 3 impeachment complaints were actually filed by other factions of the House of Representatives. So it's almost like a failure to coordinate these efforts to have one complaint filed against the vice president eventually saw a backlash against the entire effort, which the vice president sees as being an effort emanating from the office of the president. But of course, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. denies any hand in this impeachment proceeding.
CNA's Buena Bernal trying to explain the factional, possibly internecine fighting that gets in the way of processes actually proceeding through the lower house and the upper house. CNA's Buena Bernal reporting live there from Metro Manila.